next? Yeah, who's next? Who'll ride a greyhound all night long, stand in line for hours just to sing one song? Welcome to the C.L.I.M.B. This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business, because that's how it's going to happen today. You're not going to get signed because you have amazing talent. You're not going to get signed because you have an amazing performance. You're not going to get signed because you write great songs. You're going to get signed if you have an audience and you've got some leverage to bring to the table, something that they want. They can't develop your talent anymore. And the sooner that you figure that out, and the more you're going to get on board with the gospel that we're preaching on this podcast right here. That's why we created it. It's all about creating leverage. That's why we named it the C.L.I.M.B, creating leverage in the music business. See how genius that is? The wordsmith that cooked that up happens to be my co-host, Mr. Brent Baxter. Brent is an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady Antebellum, Joe Nichols, and more. And he also helps songwriters turn pro by teaching the art, craft, and business of songwriting. And you can find him at songwritingpro.com. Once again, songwritingpro.com.
Hey, and I would like to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. They help you find your sound, and they help you grow your audience so you can become the artist that everybody loves, and so you can get paid. Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists like Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, just to name a couple. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That's production, singular, no S, and there is no S because there is no other. Johnny D.
What's going on, brother?
Oh, man. Not a whole lot. Ready just to get real on this episode.
I know, this one's freaking me out a little bit.
Johnny's like, what are we talking about today? And I told him, he's like, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's my whole life.
It is a lot of people's lives, brother.
Yeah, that's my whole life. So enlighten us, sir. What is...
All right. Basically, I'm not sure exactly what we'll end up calling this, but it's either is your spouse jealous of your songwriting, or stop ruining your marriage with songwriting. Okay, or songwriting ruining your marriage.
That might be it. Stop ruining your marriage with songwriting.
Yes. So I just want to tell you, I love my wife. Okay, I've loved her since shortly after I met her. I mean, we met, fell in love, got married less than a year in, right? So, but I also love songwriting. And I've loved songwriting longer than I love my wife, because I met songwriting first. And I don't know if I've ever loved songwriting more than I love her, but I know for sure that she sometimes felt like I love it more than I love her. And so today I want to talk about this, and hopefully you won't make the same mistake of letting your wife or your husband feel that way, because it ain't good. So that's what we're going to talk about today, Johnny.
I love that, man. Dude, like... the amount of relationships that have just fallen apart because my first wife was music.
Yeah, the struggle is real. The struggle is real, my friend. So so here's the deal. My wife Emily, she knew she was marrying a songwriter. So Monday Morning Church had just been a hit single for Alan Jackson when we met through her brother Matt Klein, who we referenced a lot on this show. At the time, he was my roommate, fellow songwriter, co-writer. He and I were roomies. And then one day I come home and there's this good-looking girl in my house with her mom and dad. Boom. I was like, "Hi, how you doing?
What's your name?
What's your name? Oh, you're my little baby sister. Hello.
Where you stays at?
So, you stay here for about a week. Well, let's talk later. Which, sidebar, that's how helpless I am with women, that God had, planned her in my house for, a week for it to take. All right? I couldn't meet her out somewhere else. I couldn't just, he's not I can't, I got to get these kids together. Kids. She was a kid. I was a grown man. Anyway, we got to get these people together, and... but I cannot leave.
Wait. What's up? You need to clarify. You just said she was a kid and I'm a grown man.
No, I'm just, let's clarify that right now. Thank you, Johnny. She was 19.
Okay.
And I wasn't. So, Anyway, so yeah, I had to plant her in my house for a week or so. Yeah. And then anyway, she went home and dumped her boyfriend and moved to Nashville. You're welcome. Anyway, so
wow. I just heard that story myself, you guys. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, there's more. But anyway, so that's how helpless I am. But anyway, so Monday Morning Church had just been a hit single for Alan Jackson. All right, so she knew I was a songwriter. She had been hearing about me through her brother because we were at and stuff. And so, but there's no way, even though knowing I'm a songwriter, there's no way she knew what all came with that. Because honestly, neither did I, just because I had just turned pro, you know?
Right.
So
you're just starting to figure it out. Like
I'm still trying to figure it out. So, you know, while I'm not ready to confess all the painful details, let's just say I've wounded my wife a lot over the years, and songwriting has usually been the blade that's done the wounding. All right, so I've let songwriting carry me away from her too much. From the days when, you know, from days in the writing room to nights in the home office or showcases, or just being gone in my mind when I should have been fully present with her or with our kids. You know, there have been a lot of times I look back and going, why didn't I just shut the freaking laptop and watch the TV show with her? You know, a lot of those things. A lot of times that, you know, or I was just gone. You know, what do you think about a song idea. Hold on. So why was I gone so much? Why was I working so much and not spending as much time or attention with this lovely woman that I was blessed to marry? And it was fear, partly. You know, songwriting is very, very competitive. And there's always more you can be doing. It's not a 24/7 job. It's like 28/8. Yeah. You know, it's just more than you can pack in, right? So there's always more you can be doing. And you couple that fear with, honestly, a lack of faith on my part. Faith that God is in charge of my success and not me. I wasn't acting. I wasn't living out my faith. I was acting like it was all on me. And so you put those two things together for me, and I had the perfect recipe for basically like workaholism. And then you add in the fact that I love songwriting, and it's even easier to get sucked into that and just go there. That's you know. And so when this priority imbalance, you know, led to hurt feelings and conflict, I don't dig on the conflict. Where do I usually turn? I turn to more work, more songwriting. Because music is my alcohol, songwriting is my drug, right?
Yeah.
And so it's easy to go to that place. If there's conflict at the house, your wife's not happy with you because I haven't been as attentive as I need to be, it's easy to go where I feel like I have some control, or where I get the kudos, you know, where my co-writers like me. They don't think I'm, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, my publisher likes me. Let me go write this song. That's a good feeling. So, man, it's my drug, and that's what I've turned to so much. And songwriting has been my affair. And my wife has rightfully felt cheated at times. It's not like 24/7, okay, but there have been times, you know, seasons.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sharing this with you guys to air my dirty laundry. That's not my point here, okay? I mean, because it's embarrassing, really. But, you know, I'm not the husband I promised I'd be all the time. But thankfully, God has enough grace to cover me, and He's doing the painful work of making me more like Jesus. But He has a long way to go, just for the record. And that's obvious to anyone that knows me. But I'm sharing this because I want to spare you and your spouse from making some of the same mistakes and causing or feeling some of the same hurts. The bottom line for me is songwriting is not more important than your marriage. All right, you know, you didn't stand in front of God and make a promise to Him in front of family and friends to be faithful to songwriting till death do you part. You made that promise to God about your husband or your wife. You didn't make it about music, you know. And sometimes it's kind of easy to forget. And so, you know, I just want to encourage people to be honest with yourself. You know, have you been unfaithful? You know, have you been cheating on your spouse with music? And the big challenge is to go ask your husband or your wife how they feel. Do they feel cheated? You might not like the answer. You know, I don't like the answer. That's part of why I'd stay away and be in the office, because I didn't want to go in and talk, because I knew there's like, go hide my happy place. You know, she's not happy, and it's probably because of this, but it's easier to do more of this than to go and face the stuff I need to go face. But it's worth it to do that. You know, your marriage, your relationship with the people you love is worth it. So thing is, you know, if you go and you ask them like, hey, how you feeling? Are you feeling cheated by this? Whatever. Just remember, just shut up and listen. Don't go into defensive mode. If the thing that you love, your music gets attacked and you get defensive about it, because I know you are, because I am, because we love it. It's our baby. But just listen. Simmer on it. It might be time for an apology. It might just be time to listen and go, okay, I hear where you're coming from. Or it might be time to take a break from writing bridges and time to start rebuilding them instead. So bottom line is, love is more valuable than love songs. And so I just want to encourage you guys to, I feel like I'm on like a self-help.
It's like I feel like I'm in a therapy session right now. Like, seriously, like I'm in this conversation with some of my therapists, man.
So what was that show, Frasier? I'm a brain and I'm listening.
Man, like,
anyway, that
dude, I look, okay, so part of this is gonna go right over the heads of most of the young folk that are listening to this podcast, because
sit around to Grandpa, I'll tell you a story about this time I met a little nice.
Part of this is like getting enough lumps to learn what works and what doesn't work, because we're young and we're stubborn and we think we know, and at least that was me. I mean, I was on a road when I was 19, and so yeah, like I was in. And that'll kill a relationship. That's right. Yeah. That's tricky, man. Really tricky, especially when you're 19. So I think I tried one for the first 3. Okay, it's just a true story. I actually like this one girl that I was so crushing on for like 5 years, because she worked at the local record store in Lake Geneva. So in love with her. She was so hot. Like, she was everything. I was convinced I wanted a woman. And then literally, like,
she can hook me up with that employee discount.
Yeah.
On the new records.
I was seriously buying like stupid records I had no business buying, just so I could like have an excuse to go and hang with her. I bought the Tapao record.
I've never even heard of that.
Oh, you would. I'm not even going to tell you. I'll shoot you a link after the. Get a little bit of hot and soul with it down. It's like,
probably heard the song.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, man. So like literally 1 week before we're about to leave on my very first tour, there she is, and she's like all over me, and I'm like, what is going on? This is amazing.
Was a Tapao record.
Going to my first tour. She's finally figured out that I'm the one, and this is awesome, and I love this, and this is crazy, and then yeah, it was a big mess, but big mess, but yeah, man, we get so into it. I mean, part of it is like what you said. It's not only like your love. Your songwriting isn't only your love, but it's also your therapy. It's like it's cathartic. It's like where you go to process all this crazy crap that's happening in the relationship that means so much, that has so much weight, that could change your life forever if you don't handle it right, and change your life forever if you do handle it right. And depending on who you're with, go good or bad either way. I don't know. Like, with the pretty girl from the record store, for me, it was a blessing. Like, let me tell you something. She was wackadoodle, but it was. But that's where we go. I mean, that's so hard. That's so freaking hard, dude. Like, I can't. And even just now with this work, like, this is my baby. Like, this is. I gotta miss. Like, I think, especially from a man's perspective, and I'm saying that. Not to compare not to compare us against women or anything, but I'm a man. This is the only perspective I understand. Right. From that place. I've got this mountain to climb, and by golly, nothing's gonna get in my way. Like, I'm going to make a dent in the universe and make my queen. The queen of the, you know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm coming from, and I do lose sight of that. Like, I have been accused of a lot of things more than Facebook jail, and and that's certainly, I think if you could talk to all of my ex-girlfriends, they would all say like, oh yeah, they would just roll their eyes like, yeah. You gotta sit shoddy when shoddy to the business, or like whether it was my band business or my artist business, and now my music business. All right, welcome to another song title challenge. Let's get ready to make this happen. In this corner, we've got weighing in at 200 pounds, Mr. Brent Baxter from Arkansas, United States. The pig, woo pig. And in this corner over here, we have Mr. Michael R.J. Roth. And with the song title that I'm about to tell you, do you want to give a rundown real quick of what this section's about for the newbies?
All right, so song title challenge is on each one of my episodes, Johnny hits me with a title that I've not heard before, but it's a title that one of you climbers out there has sent in to him at what? Info at Daredevil?
Info at daredevilproduction.com. And please, in the subject line, put in all capitals, song title challenge. Thank you.
That way he knows what to look for. So y'all send it to him, you send in your titles, and then he hits me over the head with one. And what I do for the next few minutes is I look at it as a country songwriter going, okay, how would I attack this title to try and make it hit suspicious, right? Where I think it's going to have the best chance to have a commercial home, get on the radio, get cut, that sort of thing. So it's a peek for you guys inside the mind of a lyricist like me to look at it and go, okay, what angles are we going to take? How can we flip this thing around, look at it from some different directions? And my hope for it with this is that it will broaden your thinking on what you can do with your songs and go, oh, it doesn't have to be just this first thing I thought of. I can dig deeper. I can turn it this way or that way. So that's the deal. So if you got a title, it's not a co-write. So Michael, anything I use here, it's your baby. Run with it. Just invite me to the number one party. Maybe buy me a steak or whatever. You don't have to.
Invite me to the number one party too. I want to come.
Yes, I know. We'd be there cheering you on. We might even do a live show from there. So
I'll be over by the bar.
There we go. But yeah, so bring them on. But all right, bring it.
Here we go. This is this popped out because of today's episode. The title is The Price of a Song.
Oh boy, that's perfect for today. Michael, you can read my mail. All right, The Price of a Song. Okay, so I think, obviously the context of this episode has me thinking a lot of that stuff, which is pretty obvious then. Also, you think of that phrase for a song, you could have had it for a song, right? You could have had it inexpensively. So that makes me think of that going on. The price of a song. So, okay, yes, all this stuff swirling around in the air about, basically traded my love for a love song, that's just depressing. I want to get the sucker on the radio. I want people singing along, right? So how do I flip this positive? And this is a challenge sometimes. You go, oh, I could totally write this from a point of view of a musician, a writer who traded his love for a love song. I lost my relationship because of the music, and now the music's all I have, kind of thing, And sometimes you go, do I want to write something that's personal or that conflict there that I really feel, or do I want to write it more in a way that is more marketable and palatable? So today I'm gonna go with the marketable, and just show you, because even though we've got all this other stuff, all this other context going on, how can I make this positive, right? And so I'm thinking, you're asking the girl to dance, the price of a song, like the price of a song, man. But also think of just brainstorming, like I didn't ask her to dance and he did. That's the price of a song.
Ooh.
What the song cost you. Price of a song, man. You just think of all, as a musician, as a songwriter, what all it took to write that song. That's the price of a song. You think about the downloading, the Spotify, all that stuff. Before, a few years ago, it would have been all the illegal downloading, Napster and stuff. Like, you don't want to pay the price of a song, but I'll tell you what that song cost. It cost me, blood, sweat, and tears, and all these years writing this thing. That's the price of a song. That's what a song's worth. Pretty inside baseball, right? How's the mass audience going to really connect with that? Might have a purpose in educating people about fair pay for songwriters and creators.
I got an idea. You could write it from a performer's perspective, like think Bob Seger. Here I am on the road again. Here I am. up on the stage. Yeah. And, writing it that way, like what our artists do, how much time they spend away from their families, because it's a travel gig. Minnie Pearl said, honey, that she's like, I can't believe you get paid to sing. Oh, honey, I sing for free. They pay me to travel.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Which is still, obviously, what Turned the Page, that Bob Seger thing you referenced, it was a big old hit. He wrote it himself as an artist, and it's awesome. I like it. But let me just see if I can dig into this and make this a positive, hit suspicious kind of thing. So the price of a song, or you could be from a female point of view. You could have had me for a song. You could have me for a song. You asked me to dance, that kind of thing. Or the guy thinking like, I can't take her out to the nice, lobster dinner. I can't do this stuff. I don't have the big nice truck, but I can cover the price of a song. Let me play you one, or let's dance to it. There's that thinking there.
Dropping a dollar in the
you got the jukebox thing. You got I play it on my guitar.
That's kind of cool. Like if you go down that rabbit hole for a second, like the whole idea that a couple, when they're typically first getting together, they're real young, they don't have any money, and they're just trying to find cool ways to hang out together, and like that you sometimes when you see that in the movies or whatever, the romantic imaging of they put the white tablecloth in McDonald's, and something like that, and you could tie that in with and then for the big hit tonight, we're going all the way, money's no object. Some people might think it's wrong, but I'm gonna spin your world around for the price of a song.
Yeah. So it could be just that kind of that love thing of we're staying in. And slow dancing in the living room kind of thing, or by the campfire, bonfire kind of the country road thing. If it's a younger guy or in the living room, at the party or whatever. So that can be pretty interesting, depending on kind of how you want to frame that for what kind of neighborhood you want to plant that song in, what neighborhood you want to build it in. It's in a way aren't as compelling as, is there a negative thing that is still can be big and accessible, because the price. So letting my title write my song, price feels like cost.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a price that was paid, the price of a song.
And then there's a difference between cost and worth, right? Exactly.
Right.
Like, I paid this much for it, but it was totally worth it because... why? Right. Like, what's the positive thing that makes it worth it? That's going to get it on the air.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, he's out at the club or the bar, and he wants to ask her to dance. He's like, all right, next song. And during that next song, somebody else comes up and dances with her, and he never gets another shot. That's the price of a song. Which is the lost love kind of thing. You miss your chance. Which, it's like, man, I do want to turn it positive.
Or, you're saying life ain't that long. Don't let her go for the price of a song, when you're thinking about that guy sitting off to the side.
Yeah. And that also makes me think about, like, getting the girl back. Like, the kind of the price of your pride, right? You could send her that song that, but don't be so prideful you don't let her go for the price of a song. Like, what it would mean to kind of make the first move to get her to forgive you. Send her that song, play her that thing, make the first move. Don't let your pride be the price of a song.
Oh, that's good right there.
Like, you could go get her back, say the things, play her the song, go make the first move to, like, reconciliation kind of thing.
Yes,
that can be cool.
Which we're all stubborn on. Like, we just were talking about that in this episode. I mean, like,
I don't want to be the one to say I'm wrong. I don't want to be the.
Yeah, no, she can come to me. I'm not going to her. She can come to me.
Yeah, if she says I'm sorry, then I might say it. Yeah. So it could be that kind of thing, which would be pretty cool. Get her back, country boy. You could, if you play the George Strait, but something that says kind of you're sorry. You could do that, or or it could be I like the idea of don't let her go for the price of a song. Like, yeah, you say you don't dance, but man, if you walked over there right now, one song, man, just dance for one song. cowboy. Don't let her go for the price of a song. You could have her for the price of a song or something. It's worth the price of a song. You could do that, or maybe it's playing hip hop and you hate that crap, but for her, man,
yeah,
for her. You don't, or I don't dance, but I will at this wedding, kind of thing. The price of a song. So that's interesting. Kind of, if you can twist those in a positive way, I think is pretty cool. Or even if you're talking about getting that download or that jam for her that you just put on repeat and dance to. It's like, man, it was so worth the price of a song.
Right. Yeah.
And we fell in love, and it's like, man, just kind of it all started with the song kind of thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Best investment ever.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about that. She said she loved it, and I pulled that sucker up, and I, made sure I had it queued up. When she came on. Which, then I think, okay, we got streaming. You can do stuff on demand. Do price? Do you pay for that stuff? Do you download? I'm thinking about that stuff. It's not as easy like I bought the record.
Yeah.
Because we have access to stuff, and that does change that. If it's a young hip artist, that's like, who buys stuff?
Yeah.
I buy for a subscription to have access to stuff.
That's right.
So is there another way to build in the price?
I think it's a relationship price. I think that's it. The hurdle that you got to overcome to that resistance, and not because you're afraid to dance or you're afraid to reach out that one thing, and then you choose that song and you go and you do it. But the cost is fear of rejection, right? You've got to push through that and then you start. Then the happy ending is they end up in love and that.
Yeah. So there's something there, I think. I mean, it's like if you can, and I don't feel like we've quite turned that corner on that, but you can find that angle that makes it a positive thing. I think it can be so much more interesting because it's not the first thing you would have thought of.
I think we got a couple different angles in there, which is pretty good, though. That'll be a lot for him to work with. So
we're not going to put the whole song tonight because it's a long segment.
That's right. But well, thank you, Michael, for sending that in. And anybody else that wants to send one in, please just email me at info@daredevilproduction.com with song title challenge in all capital letters, and we'll put your song on too. We'll put your title on here and see what we can do. And if you would like some one-on-one coaching with Brent for your song and your song title, please reach out to Brent at songwritingpro.com and schedule an appointment ASAP. He's taking on some sessions.
There you go. Yeah, you can check out my calendar, see what's available. Thanks, y'all.
All right, guys, back to the show.
I mean, because it's that same drive and that same focus that got me to leave family, move to Nashville, spend all those hours writing songs.
Yeah.
Forgetting all the other stuff I could have been doing, and that drive and not giving up. That helped me get those cuts and get that stuff going on and get that publishing deal and get that hit, and then you bring in this whole new thing that's supposed to be and is more important. And now, not only that, but now this is my job. And now I have a family to provide for. And I really want it to work, right? Because now it's not just me. So you get all these things that feed into it, especially once you're doing that for a living. It's like, well, yes, it's what I love. It's my escape. It's my hobby. But also now there's pressure. Like, you've done it once, do it again. You got to get some cuts. Otherwise, you're going to be doing something else that you don't like, and plus, you got a wife counting on you, to bring home the bacon. And so, I mean, there's so many things that drive in that direction, And so, I mean, my wife and I've had the conversation before. Work is my happy place. Work is my hiding place. Writing and that kind of stuff. And so, however the kind of the crazy cycle starts, it's like, she's feeling pushed away or rejected by me because I'm not as around, or I'm not as available mentally or physically. I'm in the office too much or whatever, working. And, and my perspective, I'm hustling, trying to provide and do this stuff, but she's starting to feel, pushed away. And then she reacts in a way that, I feel more unwelcome around, like she doesn't want me around as much. So what do? Okay, you don't want me around, I'll go work. You know, if I feel pushed away, she felt pushed away, and the response makes me feel pushed away, or vice versa. And so it pushes us away from each other, which makes both of it worse. You know, it's that crazy cycle. And knowing that we have that tendency, you know, Lord willing, we're going to short circuit that when we get on again, because it's probably going to get on again, because, you know, I tend to work too much. It's something I'm going to struggle with, you know. But having better communication and talking about this stuff and having bigger goals for our life together helps. But hopefully knowing that stuff and knowing, okay, if she's, you know, responding not to me in a way that I like, you know, if she's being harsh with me or she whatever, you know, the things that normally would make me go, oh, fine, you don't want me around, okay, what am I going to do? I'm not going to watch Game of Thrones. I'm going to go to my office. I'm going to work.
Yeah,
because that's what I do, right? I'm not going to go hang out and just.
But sometimes you got to chill in Netflix, like
very little. Usually a happy place, right? I got goals, or some football during football season. But usually that's the thing. Like, oh, I'm going to work, which makes her feel second place even more. Because look at all the time he's spending in his office working on that stuff instead of being with me. I have to remember, like, okay, when she acts like she doesn't want to be around you or she doesn't want you around her, go be around her.
Yeah.
That fixes that. You know, it comes out opposite.
This totally turned into a therapy session, but this is good. This is good for the artists and the songwriters out there. Okay, so I'm going to share with you some stuff that I learned in my marriage. Like, and this may sound a little mechanical, and it probably had to be for me. Just because that's my personality type, and again, it's from a man's perspective. But I imagine the flip flop would work as well too. But we actually, when I was married, we I'm divorced now, but we're still great friends. Like, highly respect one another. I talk with her, I don't know, every few months or so, maybe like every 6 months, not every few months, every 6 months on, you know, about business stuff. She'll call me about that because we used to have lots of discussions about that with her career. She's a TV producer. So there was no, you know, horrible, it wasn't this horrible divorce, if you can imagine that. But we made a contract with one another because otherwise, like especially like me, like guys like me from the Midwest, dumb Midwestern guys, like that's me. Who don't have sisters that were in our social groups, right? I have two sisters, but they're both younger than me and by 4 years. And what I didn't have was in my social group discovery of how a female processes information like that. Right? Like the way a girl's going to think about it. So I'm clueless to it, which is even more annoying for my wife at the time. Right? Like, she just wants to hit me over the head with a pan, like I'm supposed to know, but I don't have the tool set. You know, I had to go find it. I found it in therapy. But so one of the things we did was we created a contract where, because I know that one of my therapists was like, listen, women want men to be in attendance in a relationship. And you have to make time for that attendance, which is like what you're talking about in a different way. But I'm going to give you like a structured, like, go-to plan for this for you and your spouse, okay, or you and your significant other. But so if you make a structured plan on being in attendance, then you can also make deals when it's okay to be out of attendance. This was what was important for me for two reasons. Number one, I had a studio in my house, like a really badass recording studio in my house in LA. And number two, when Packer season was on, I mean, like, I don't want to have a heart-to-heart and, you know, right, during the Packer game. Like, I don't want you standing in front of the TV trying to test, like, find out, like, you know, that's not the time.
How we're doing.
So we made a deal. Like, I said, you know what? She's like, man, I want to come home and I want to connect with you today, you know? And I'm like, okay, let's do that. So,
and that's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. And so after work, like, I would make it, but this is the way my feeble mind thinks, right? And I think a lot of guys are like Cro-Magnon man like me on this. Like, Like, we just don't get it. And if we have a rule, we can follow it, right? But sometimes we get in so deep with our girls that they're so sick of dealing with us, they just want to hit us like over the head with something rather than make a rule, But so every day I would come home and say, like, we're going to talk for half an hour to an hour and just hang out and I'm going to hear about your day. You know what I mean? And I learned not to fix anything, just to be like, oh my God, that's terrible. Oh, honey, that's awesome. Like, that's great. Like, and ask questions, but don't fix anything. And just get her to talk as much as she can, because then that's how we got connected, and I'm learning stuff about her day instead of being disconnected. And that small little gesture was, now keep in mind, we didn't have kids, so different than your situation a little bit, but that small little gesture, like, was a game changer for us. Like, it was really awesome. And then basically, when I'm working in the studio, like, I'm just like, hey, come in whenever you want, hang out. Sometimes there's a party going on in there if I'm working with a band or whatever. And it's always like, she was welcome to come, but I don't, unless the house is burning down, I don't. Like, when I'm in the middle of a mix, like, this is the time we have to have a heart-to-hearts over here, Over here, no. But if you can schedule that time out, like, then, but you've got to give to receive, right? Like, that's the thing. So there was like a whole lot of me doing that, and then a whole lot of getting it back. And that was a way to create it, because what we're talking about is how to get a balance in between your passion for your art and your passion to create a happy life with your significant other.
Yeah.
And so sometimes those little things can just reestablish some good habits and get you out of like a little rut. Like, to your point, Brent, when you're like, if she doesn't want you around her, go be around her. Right?
Go be around her.
So that's a way to maybe, I don't know if that's going to help anybody. If it does, comment, say something on social media, let us know.
Right. Yeah. I hope it does. And that's the thing, because, this music life encompasses so much more than just music. If you want to be successful at this stuff, I want you to be successful at life, and music being a part of that. And that's the thing. If you're blowing up, and if you just look at it going, okay, if my spouse is happy, you're going to have more freedom. You're going to have less of that, stuff eating at you that eats at your creativity, eats at your, all that other stuff, man. You're kind of more open to things are working well at the house, and I think, busting up your family also has a good way of busting up your dreams and your goals. So,
from a sick point of view, some people could argue like, get a bunch of songs out of it, though.
Well, that's true. That's true. I know. I thought about that too, but
But is it worth it? I don't know. Yeah. Like, you and that hit song and all that money that came with it could just sit there alone in that apartment.
So, right. But so that's just what I want to talk about today.
Well, that's a good one, man. That kind of like goes into just some heartfelt one-on-one stuff, but I like that. We really do care, and we want happy, successful artists, not just successful artists.
Yeah, if I got to put my wife through enough where she wants to hit me with a frying pan, then I at least want to redeem some of that and help you avoid some of the same mistakes, because that's part of it, man. That's part of it. So it's part of the journey. Hopefully it'll be a good part of the journey for you. So that's all I got. Except, I do have one other thing. I do have a gift for you. A gift from Brent. It's the Think Like a Pro Songwriter ebook. You can check it out at giftfrombrent.com. Giftfrombrent, BRENT.com. And it's you just tell me where to send it. I send it right off to you. But it's kind of my thank you for listening, for being along on this ride, and attending my therapy session. It don't even charge you. Just find a couch, and you can read Think Like a Pro Songwriter. And anyway, but yeah, check it out, giftfrombrent.com. All
right, man. Well, that brings us to the end of another killer episode of The Climb. If you like it, share it. It'll make you cool. Please take a couple seconds, leave a rating and review. It will make you famous on that. It makes us look legit to everybody else. We appreciate you guys, and keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top, or on the couch in therapy, or just wherever.